Chapter 18. Emma and her family went to 17 Miles for dinner while George was sulking at home. He saw the post from Diamond Group's official page, feeling very depressed and dejected. He thought that it would be absolutely impossible for Emma to win the contract, but unexpectedly, it had only taken her half an hour to score a $80 million contract. Recalling his harsh and scornful remarks at her place yesterday, he was extremely embarrassed as the remarks came back as a slap in his face. Right at this moment, Harold called to whine about his situation. He said as soon as the call was answered, "Hey, George, what the hell? I earnestly created opportunities for you to pursue my cousin, but you turned your back on me and helped her to win the diamond contract. How could you do this to me?" George shook his head in disdain. "What the heck? I didn't do anything." Harold asked again, "George, be honest with me. Did you sleep with my cousin?" At the same time, George was too embarrassed to deny the fact that he had nothing to do with all this. It would mean that he was admitting his incompetence, wouldn't it? Hence, he mumbled sheepishly, "Yeah. Harold, I'm sorry, I'll make it up to you whenever I have a chance." "I knew it." Harold sighed, and then hurriedly asked, "George, my cousin was a virgin, wasn't she? I don't think she's ever slept with that loser." "You struck the jackpot, you lucky dog." George gaped in astonishment followed by excitement. All right. Emma Richard was still a virgin. Then, he might as well tell everyone that he had done the deed with Emma. In this way, he could estrange her relationship with her husband too. As the cunning thought lingered in his mind, he giggled coyly and said to Harold, "Yes. Your cousin was a virgin. She was so tight and cute I couldn't help it." "Ha ha ha." Harold's bitter voice resonated, "If so, please don't forget about me whenever you have any benefits in hand, okay buddy?" "Don't worry," George exclaimed casually. As soon as he ended Harold's call, his father called him suddenly. His father's anxious voice entered his ear. "George, we have a problem. The Diamond Group has canceled all their projects with us. Did you offend anyone recently?" George fell into dead silence upon hearing this. Was it true? Didn't it mean that his family would suffer a great loss? He blurted hastily, "Dad, what's going on?" "No, I didn't offend anyone." "Did you?" His father sounded disbelief and bewildered. "Neither am I. I've been in the office these days so I didn't meet many people, let alone offend someone." "Hey, Dad. Is it possible that Diamond's new chairman is doing a major reshuffle after taking over the company?" "Yes. You're right," Mr. Alexander exclaimed, suddenly coming to his senses. "I haven't had a chance to visit the new chairman since his appointment. I've spoken to Doris Young several times, but she said that their chairman doesn't take any visitors." "Then what should we do?" Mr. Alexander fell into silence as he pondered the situation and then said, "Oh, yes. The Richard family's banquet tomorrow night, they said that they've invited the chairman. Let's find a chance to meet him." "All right," George agreed right away. "Let's go together tomorrow." The next day, the entire Richard family was over the moon and extremely delighted. It was the most important moment in the family. Overnight, the news about the Richard family winning the contract with Diamond Group and the invitation of the chairman to the banquet had spread throughout Oris Hill. For this banquet, Alex found his most expensive suit to wear and went to the hotel where the banquet was held. Alex got out of the car after arriving at the hotel's entrance when a Mercedes stopped abruptly in front of him. Then, George Alexander, who donned a meticulously expensive suit and slick hairstyle, came out of the car. A waiter marched forward and greeted him diligently. George saw Alex too, apparently. There was a trace of disdain in his eyes as he scanned him and said with a sly smile, "Where did you find this counterfeit suit? You look like a dog trying to play dress up." Alex said flatly, "What does it have to do with you?" George twitched his lips, a dash of mockery painted his face. You have nothing to do with me, but your wife is a whole new different story. Alex frowned slightly and asked, what story? The bystanders couldn't help but stop as the remarks echoed within their earshot. Starting last night, there was a rumor circulating among society. Rumors had it that Emma succeeded in winning the contract because of her intimate relationship with George. Otherwise, how else could they explain the collaboration with Diamond Group based on her and Richard Group's competency? From the current looks of it, it sounded quite legit and reasonable. Seeing that a crowd was slowly gathered around them, George said loudly, "Why do you think Emma could win the contract with Diamond Group?" Alex glared at George coldly. "Why?" George curled his lips into a cocky smile and said, "Because of me, of course. Because Emma is my woman now, so I gave all I could for her to succeed in her negotiation with them. If you have any sense left, be a gentleman and divorce her as soon as possible." Although they had anticipated the reason, the people couldn't help but gape in astonishment when they heard George said it outright. Sure enough, Emma had won the contract by sleeping with George Alexander. "Because of you," Alex chuckled sinisterly. "Who do you think you are?"